let's get to the question that we all are asking is, so we've heard of this necklace. So this is one of the first black by Brian Gavin pieces you've created?
Sure. Let me say it's not the first Brian Gavin black, because that would be unfair. There's one prior to that, and we can talk about that later. But the next 69 stones were the stones that went into the Sirisha. This was one of the most amazing projects that I had ever undertaken in my life. It's not the most expensive piece in the world, and it's definitely not the largest piece in the world. But it's 68 stones weighing over 52 carats total weight. Each stone had to be meticulously cut and, of course, had to pass the Brian Gavin black criteria. So, to give you a few more details about the necklace, the largest stone was over 2 carats, and all the stones in this necklace are EF colors, meaning colorless, and they're all VS1 plus, meaning there's some VVS, VS, meaning very difficult to see with 10 times magnification. So these are clean white diamonds, which is part of the Brian Gavin Black series. We got this commission. We were given a considerable deposit, which made us very excited, and we went to work. I have to thank our site holder manufacturers who worked tirelessly with us to make sure that we could execute this as soon as possible. We produced about 90 stones to start with. We were running well on time, and when these stones were finished, I flew to the Belgium offices, checked these stones, and then we shipped them off to the lab. I returned to the United States and waited for the results. With bated breath, a lot of sweating, when ultimately the results came out, and roughly we had about 60 stones that passed for AGS zero light performance, and only 54 of those stones passed for being a Brian Gavin Black, which left us with a problem because we were short. And it was almost closing time, vacation time in Antwerp, where most diamond houses, manufacturers shut down for the August vacation. And so I got on a plane once again, rushed over, and we looked through the goods that we could possibly look at. There were some that we had to recut on the spot because we had a big problem with the second tier, meaning we had the 2 carat plus stone in the center. Then we had 2 stones which over are less than 190, I'm going to put it that way because I don't want to give the exact detail, but one of the stones didn't pass. And we cut 2 extra stones because we couldn't have the risk of one of these not passing. And ultimately, out of those 2 stones, one didn't make the matched size, and the other one did. And when we finished filling all the other necessary missing stones, that of course went off to the lab. But we were under pressure because this piece had to be delivered within 10 days of this now. And there again, I have to thank the AGS for facilitating and making sure that this went through the lab as quickly as possible, and the grading went through. There were some rechecks on some of the goods, and ultimately we had the balance of the stones to make up the piece. So as I said, it's over 52 carats. Magnificent, magnificent, unique piece. I don't think there's another piece like this in the world that you have stones that are so meticulously matched, each pair as you go down the necklace, with the kind of light performance there are. I don't think there's another piece like this that exists.
So, well, I guess you can't divulge pricing, but
let's just say it's in excess of $500,000.
Can you tell us the story behind the piece?
This was a gift for his daughter. She was getting married. He wanted to give her something very, very special. And he did a lot of research. And he went to all the big name jewelers. He just wasn't satisfied with what they offered. One real big name jeweler couldn't even tell him all the details. They had a finished necklace which they could sell him, and they couldn't even tell him all the details. They just told him, well, this is what it is, but we can't tell you all the details of the stone. And that's the difference of us. We are very, very bespoke in what we do. And we're also one of the only companies in the world that will take a order online to actually cut for specific criteria. When people do their research on us, they understand that our track record, our experience, everything about us speaks for itself, and that they can feel comfortable enough to buy a $500,000 plus piece online, give a huge deposit in order to secure that, knowing that we will deliver the product in the end. It's a great testament to who we are as a company and what our team does. The other interesting thing which I think is really important is the actual piece that was made besides the diamonds. So this in itself was a huge task, because we didn't know what we would have in the end. We used CAD, we used the technology to create each head. So it was totally bespoke in its way. Each head that would hold each diamond was designed. As soon as we had the measurements on the diamond, we created each head individually for those diamonds. And ultimately, when of course we knew that these pieces were going in, then we started to print them digitally, and then they were cast, and the heads were processed, meaning that they went into the workshop, they were worked on, ready to receive all these diamonds. It took 220 man-hours with 4 of our top craftsmen, 4 of our top platinum smiths, to assemble the piece and to actually set all the stones. This does not take into account the time of actually CADing and designing the piece, because here's a piece you want to make sure that lies on the neck properly. You have different weights, you have different heights, and you'll see it's just immaculately put together, and it's just, I think, one of the most amazing diamond Riviera necklaces ever created. He was asking for a certain number of stones, which were all half carat in size. He wanted 20 of them. So one of our sales consultants, diamond consultants, brings this to my attention. Of course, this is not, somebody who wants that kind of quantity, it's out of the ordinary. So I said, look, ask the gentleman to call in and I will talk with him. And he called in, and I started questioning him what he wanted these 24, and then he explained to me he's going to make this necklace, and he's having the necklace made in his hometown. And I said, whoa, hold on. If you want to make this perfect necklace, there's nobody here in this world that can deliver you the kind of light performance stones that we can as a company. It's a fact, because I don't think anybody else could have turned it out in 6 weeks in the way we did it. And I think he was a bit skeptical in the beginning, even though he came to us via, let's say, our reputation, and then looking into what we do. When after talking with each other, he put his trust totally into us, and we delivered. I hand-delivered the piece to him because we were very short on time, and it was given to him the day before we had to go to the wedding. And to see the joy and the pleasure of somebody who has spent this kind of money, and to see that joy on that individual's face, was the most amazing thing for me. I mean, the putting of that piece together and the happiness of the client, wow. I don't think there's anything else that can really top that in that sense, because it was just such a huge mountain to climb. We climbed it, we traversed it, and happiness. And that's what we're about. We're about making our customers happy, and we want all our customers to be happy. That's Brian Gavin.